This video is dedicated to all the Indian taxpayers who want to know which is the best ELSS fund in 2023 for investment. And not just that, in this video we are going to cover three important questions. First one obviously is which is the best ELSS fund in 2023. The second question is whether you should invest in lump sum or SIP in ELSS fund. And the third question is if you want to invest in lump sum, what is the right time to invest in lump sum in ELSS fund. So without further ado, let's begin with our first question, that is which is the best ELSS fund in 2023. And to answer this question, we are going to analyze top 5 ELSS fund based on 4 parameters: risk, returns, ratings and expense ratio. So moving to our first parameter, that is return analysis. And in return analysis, firstly we are going to see historical returns of this top 5 ELSS mutual fund. On the basis of past 3 year historical returns, on number 1 we have Quant Tax Plan, on number 2 we have Parag Parak Tax Saver Fund, on number 3 we have HDFC Tax Saver Fund, on number 4 we have Bandhan Tax Advantage ELSS Fund, and on number 5 we have SBI Long Term Equity Fund. And here I want to inform you that Bandhan Bank has acquired IDFC Mutual Fund, so all the schemes starting with IDFC is been replaced by Bandhan. Rest everything remains the same. Next in return analysis, we are going to see annualized return of this top 5 ELSS mutual fund from 2019 till 2022. And based on annualized return, on number 1 we have Quant Tax Plan, on number 2 we have Parag Parak Tax Saver Fund, on number 3 we have Bandhan Tax Advantage ELSS Fund, on number 4 we have SBI Long Term Equity Fund, and on number 5 we have HDFC Tax Saver Fund. Next in return analysis, we are going to see absolute SIP returns of this top 5 ELSS mutual fund. And based on the performance of past 3 year absolute SIP returns, on number 1 we have Quant Tax Plan, on number 2 we have Parag Parak Tax Saver Fund, on number 3 we have HDFC Tax Saver Fund, on number 4 we have Bandhan Tax Advantage ELSS Fund, and on number 5 we have SBI Long Term Equity Fund. And after return analysis, we will move to risk analysis. In risk analysis, firstly we will see standard deviation of this top 5 ELSS fund, and standard deviation, lower the value is better for the fund. On parameters of standard deviation, which tells us the volatility of fund, on number 1 we have Parag Parak Tax Saver Fund, on number 2 we have SBI Long Term Equity Fund, on number 3 we have HDFC Tax Saver Fund, on number 4 we have Bandhan Tax Advantage ELSS Fund, on number 5 we have Quant Tax Plan. Next in risk analysis, we will look at the beta of this fund, and lower the value of beta is better for the fund. And on parameters of beta, on number 1 we have Parag Parak Tax Saver Fund, on number 2 we have SBI Long Term Equity Fund, on number 3 we have Quant Tax Plan, on number 4 we have HDFC Tax Saver Fund, and on number 5 we have Bandhan Tax Advantage ELSS Fund. Next in risk analysis, we are going to look at the Sharpe ratio of these funds, and Sharpe ratio tells us that how much return the fund has generated on the amount of risk it has taken, and the higher the value is better for the fund. And on parameters of Sharpe ratio, on number 1 we have Quant Tax Plan, on number 2 we have Parag Parak Tax Saver Fund, on number 3 we have Bandhan Tax Advantage ELSS Fund, on number 4 we have SBI Long Term Equity Fund, and on number 5 we have HDFC Tax Saver Fund. And next in risk analysis, we are going to look at alpha of these funds, and alpha tells us that how much extra return the fund has generated over its benchmark, and higher the value is better for the fund. And on parameters of alpha, on number 1 we have Quant Tax Plan, on number 2 we have Parag Parak Tax Saver Fund, on number 3 we have Bandhan Tax Advantage ELSS Fund, on number 4 we have SBI Long Term Equity Fund, and on number 5 we have HDFC Tax Saver Fund. With this, we will move to our third parameter, and here we are going to see that how different rating agencies such as CRISIL, Value Research and Morningstar has rated these funds. Based on the ratings given by Value Research, CRISIL and Morningstar, on number 1 we have 2 ELSS fund, that is Quant Tax Plan and Parag Parak Tax Saver Fund. On number 2 we have Bandhan Tax Advantage ELSS Fund, on number 3 we have HDFC Tax Saver Fund, and on number 4 we have SBI Long Term Equity Fund. And now coming to our fourth parameter, and here we are going to analyze the expense ratio of direct plan of this top 5 ELSS mutual fund. And on parameters of expense ratio of direct plan of this ELSS fund, on number 1 we have Quant Tax Plan with least expense ratio of 0.57%, on number 2 we have Bandhan Tax Advantage ELSS Fund, on number 3 we have Parag Parak Tax Saver Fund, on number 4 we have SBI Long Term Equity Fund, and on number 5 we have HDFC Tax Saver Fund with expense ratio of 1.17%. And by combining the results of all these 4 parameters together, the final ranking of this top 5 ELSS fund is like this. The best ELSS tax saver mutual fund for 2023 is Quant Tax Plan. On number 2 we have Parag Parak Tax Saver Fund, on number 3 we have Bandhan Tax Advantage ELSS Fund, on number 4 we have HDFC Tax Saver Fund, on number 5 we have SBI Long Term Equity Fund. So now we know the best ELSS mutual fund for 2023. Now moving to our second question, that whether you should invest in SIP or lump sum in ELSS mutual fund. And the answer to this question is lump sum is always better than SIP in terms of returns. only if you are doing it at the right time when there is a correction in the market. And now coming to the last and the third question, that whether you should invest in lump sum in current market situation or not. And the answer to this question is currently market is witnessing a good correction on account of Silicon Valley Bank and Credit Suisse Bank crisis, and according to me this is a good time to invest in lump sum. But it is advisable that you must consult your financial advisor before investing. And at last but not the least, Quant Tax Plan is on number 1 spot, but my personal favorite is Parag Parikh Tax Saver Fund. And if you want to invest in any of these funds, I must suggest you that you must invest in direct plan of these funds and avoid paying unnecessary commissions. To invest in Quant Tax Plan, you need to log in Angel One app, and the dashboard of Angel One app looks like this. And here you need to click on this mutual fund icon, and on the next page on the top right hand side corner a search bar is there. You need to click on that particular search bar, and here you need to type the fund name and click on the direct plan growth of this fund. And on next screen you will find all the details related to Quant Tax Plan on your mobile screen. And after that, for investing in this particular mutual fund, you just need to click on this invest button, and then on the next screen you need to enter the SIP or lump sum amount in this mutual fund. And here we are going to start a SIP in this mutual fund, and for that you need to click on the start SIP button. And after that, the bank account which is linked to your Demat account, you can pay via internet banking, UPI or Google Pay. And if you are going to select UPI, you need to enter the UPI ID and click on the proceed button. And the moment you click on the proceed button, your SIP will start in this mutual fund.